Alright, so in this video we're going to take a look at how to do the assignment, write a summary, and influence of culture. This one's a little burlier in terms of the amount of writing you're going to have to do, but it should be a little easier because you've already written about your own culture. Now you're going to write about the culture of the main character in the text you're reading. So in order to meet standard, the summary you write needs to be clear to anyone, even if they haven't read the book that you're writing about. And if you've done the last two summaries, you'll probably be just fine. What you need to do, though, is summarize this section, the third section of the book that you've read so far. You need to include all the elements of culture when you summarize the character's culture. And I would recommend, as you do this, to color code those things. You select 3 decisions or actions that are clearly important from the text. You explain why those actions are important. And then you have to explain how the character's culture influenced those decisions. And that's going to be a little tricky. Okay, so after you go through the rubric, the first thing you want to do is write your summary. Remember that when you write a summary, I would recommend tap the enter key, tap the tab key, type out a list of details, tapping enter every time you type a detail, then turn that list of details into a paragraph below it. Make sure that you explain who characters are, why things are happening, where things are happening, and remember that I haven't read your book, so you need to explain it and convince me that you're actually reading your book. After that, it says, go back to your answer to number 2, where you described your culture. So you can scroll way up the page back to your answer for where you described your culture. Read through it again, and just to review the concept. You're not going to do much with it, but you just want to review that concept. Then, in the space below, you need to summarize the culture of the main character in the book that you are reading. Include and color code the following elements. So you're just going to write the summary of the character's culture right down there. I would just start with daily life. In the daily life of blah, the main character, start writing. Go through each of these things. Now that you've thought about their culture, now you got to think about 3 moments in the text where your character had to make an important decision or did an important action. And then you have to think about how did at least one element of your character's culture influence their decision or their action. And the idea here is that a lot of what we do in our lives is influenced by our culture. A lot of what humans choose to do in terms of the actions, decisions they make comes from the culture that they are a part of. So for you, start to think about how does culture influence the way your character is making decisions as they go throughout the text. So write one important decision action in the text. Notice that you do not need text evidence. You can just describe it. In this case, I knew this was kind of a nasty assignment. You don't need to pull text evidence. What you can do is just write a description of it. If you'd like to pull text evidence, you can, but you don't have to for this assignment. Why was that an important decision? How did at least one element of your character's culture influence a decision or action? So everywhere you see a write, you can just answer it. And you can either answer it by just typing right here, or you can also tap the enter key, tap the tab key, and do a little bullet point below to show that this is a response to this question. The choice is yours. Just make sure you format it clearly. All right, have fun.